Hey guys, welcome back. Got a great new update for Diablo. Big things have changed over the past few weeks because I found out something pretty significant that happened in 2.4, something I didn't know about. After all this time, all you got to do is scroll down and you come across Augment Ancient Item. Now this is something I had no idea even existed because I just play solo and I've been mucking around on my own pushing rifts. I saw on a video or some build somewhere on the Diablo net about this augmenting items. Well, I'd never even seen about it. So when you augment an item, so take the helmet, all you do is use one of your legendary gems and you go into the cube, you augment one of your items and it adds either dexterity or intelligence or strength to that item. It's quite an expensive process, but it's a significant upheaval because as you'll see now on my stats on the bottom left hand corner, I've got 16.1 thousand or 16,000 intelligence. I mean, that's a huge leap from what I had before. Now you can only do it with ancient items. Now I've got virtually all ancient items apart from the Tal Rasha. Still can't get one. I actually had to swap for an ancient path in Defenders because I just couldn't get a decent one. I think I've only ever had one drop in all this time. You could even use Ashnagar's blood, but I'll go down to a bit. So yeah, all my items, apart from the belt, I haven't augmented that yet. I haven't obviously augmented that, but just from augmenting, like the weapon, I got 2 very good rings now as well. So thank you, Wally, who donated them. You get a huge boost. So you can see there, my damage 2.9. And my strength 40. Now if I go into force weapon and put my shield on, you'll now see that that's gone up to 59.3 million. So it's significant for the value in the armor and stuff like that with a huge amount of intelligence. So that aside, there was a couple of things I changed in the build that work really well. So if we look at the skills now, with energy armor, I've gone with prismatic armor because that just gives me a lot more resistance to damage. And I actually find it better than force armor. I just find it works much better in the higher level rifts than force armor. So I'm sticking with that. Now over the past 24 hours, what I've been doing is I've been experimenting with everything. So I've been using Ashnagar's blood. I've been trying with the Endless Walk build, and I even tried to use the Aquila Cuirass, but the problem is with that you've got to make sure that your primary resource is above 90%, so it's a hard management. You don't really need it. It's too hard to manage because when you've got Unity on, it's just working there passively. So everything's the same. Everything to do with my build is virtually the same, apart from I've just changed this. And the one most significant thing, which is the main part of this build, and it's very specific, magic weapon deflection. Now, I didn't really understand how this worked with with force armor and stuff like that before, but the one thing what you want to do is try and aim. If you look at my stats now, this is where this comes from. If you've got maximum life and you want to push that up to about 1 million, because in the maths behind this, this is going to put a shield up that absorbs 4% of your life in damage. So 4% is going to be 40,000 shield. Now at the same time, if you look at Simplicity Strength over on the right hand side, that is going to heal me for 4% of my maximum life on hit. So when you combine them, you're constantly putting a shield up for 40,000, and I'm hitting so quick. I mean, you can see how fast you're hitting the enemy. So that shield is constantly refreshing all the time, taking a lot of damage absorption. And you're also healing yourself for 4% every time you hit the enemy. So the more the shield's up, the more time it gives you to heal. And not only that, when when you use your teleport calamity, you're going to stun the enemy. So that allows you to stun the enemy, use the shield, so your health and shield are all working in tandem. It's very, very important that you use all three of these at the same time. All the passages in the background are the same, unstoppable and non-melee. In the high rifts, you need to be using it. I've tried using Unwavering Will with all the different builds, and it's too hard to manage because you need to be stood still. So it just really doesn't quite work, because this is a very, very kinetic build, and it's working very well now with this. It's very much an extreme setup. You have to use this setup or it just doesn't work. So obviously with Elemental Exposure, Audacity and Blur, that's pretty much the only ones you can use. So Throne Blade, got to use Electricity. I've swapped over to the Mammoth Hydra purely because in big mob situations, once the floor is covered in fire, then they're constantly taking damage all around in that area. I know you can't see the molten on the floor that they're dropping, but it's better in group situations, and that's how it allows you to get through the big mobs in a bit better. And it just constantly spams the meteor for you. You've got to be freezing things, and that is a massive boost to the build. Everything that's frozen then allows you to use your Bane of the Trapped. So Bane of the Trapped's going to be doing a huge amount of damage. I've got that up to level 73 now. So you've got 36.9% damage to anything that's frozen. It's a must-have, absolute must-have. And I said magic weapon deflection. This is paramount to survival at the higher level rifts, as you'll see when we get to the actual run itself. And teleport calamity. Now, Aether Walker is pretty much the only weapon you can use for this, because you want to be moving around at a very, very fast pace, stunning things, and it also allows you to get out of trouble at any time. It works twofold with the Parthian defenders, so you stun something, it gives you damage mitigation, but when you stun something they're not going to be hitting you, and it also procs Tal Rasha. So it's a very, very important kind of part of the build as well. Now, the only difference would be was if you had a very good ancient Fragment of Destiny, you could use that and put Aether Walker in here. Either way, you need a good weapon that's got good stats on it and very high damage. So that's pretty much the build now. I mean, obviously the gems, you have to be using Simplicity Strength. Bane of the Trapped is just too much damage to refuse. Now, Bane of the Powerful, or the one I never use, and I forget the name of it. Bane of the Stricken. I mean, I actually don't have a Bane of the Stricken on the go at the moment. Possibly I'll build another one up, but I used it in Augmenting. I might build another one up and try it again, but I've always found that Bane of the Powerful works better because you're doing more damage against the elites. They're doing less damage against you, and after killing them, I've now got that up to 101 seconds of having that 20% increased damage, which is just there. It's a passive for that 101 seconds. So there's no management. Again, everything in this build is there working. You don't have to manage anything virtually. Paragon. So I mean, I've actually got up to 806 Paragon now, which is a big step. I haven't done that from the last run yet. So every time, I've got more. So you can see here what I've done is I've taken everything out of movement speed and stuck it into intelligence, because that gives me more resistance and it gives me more power. So even though I'm moving around slowly, you're not running around rifts, you're constantly teleporting around rifts. So that's where your speed comes from. And even when you teleport, you can see that the shield procs. So you don't need speed, just stick everything into intelligence. And the two most important things on your follower, Wang Dang Zhou works good, Wang Jiang Do, because it freezes enemies below 18%. It'd be nice if I could get that higher, but on Rift Guardians, once they get down to that low level, it's pretty much guaranteed you can just stand there and smash the face in, which on some Rift Guardians is horrendous. But it also works on elites and other things as well. S of Johann. You want with an S of Johann with slow by 80%, because it doesn't proc all the time, but it's really good when it does, because it just groups things up for you nicely. And the most important thing, Oculus Ring. Now you'll notice in the video, when I'm standing in the Oculus Ring, the damage goes through the roof when you've got everything procking at the same time and your damage is at maximum. 84% extra. Because I'm starting to crit now for 10, 11, 12 billion when I'm stood in the ring. It does go through the roof, and when you get a power pylon, holy crap, it's ridiculous damage. Incredible. And Unity, obviously. Now you could get a freeze of deflection on here. At the moment, I've got Storm Shield. I could never be bothered changing it, but I'll get a decent freeze of deflection on there, because it will help to freeze enemies as well. So I mean that's pretty much the build. If I was to go through the stats, intelligence, as you can see, is very, very high now. Vitality, obviously the higher vitality, you want to get your life up a lot. Armor, try and build up armor as much as you can. So attacks per second, well, that doesn't really show exactly how fast you're attacking. It really doesn't. But critical hit chance and critical hit damage. Chance, you want to get the chance up as high as you can. The more criticals, obviously, the higher the damage, so you've got to get that up as high as possible. Area damage is nice, obviously, because you've got the meteors. Cooldown reduction doesn't matter at all in this build. You don't need it. And the damage for what you're doing, lightning damage, meteors, and spectral blade. Everything else is going into vitality, armor, and resistance. For the higher the build, you really, really do need it. Damage reduction, obviously, from the armor, you need as much as you can get. Now you can see here that the resistances are really, really high, purely because of using the armor that we're using. Again, if you look at the skills there, 25% extra to the resistance, so that's it's pretty important to get that up very high, because in the high level rifts you just get decimated. Crowd control reduction as well, very important to get that on if you can on any of the items, because the less time that you're getting screwed about, the better. Maximum life, try and get that as high as you can. Life per hit, if you can get life per hit, that does obviously help, but with the shield on hit and the life on hit from Simplicity Strength, doesn't necessarily matter too much, but if you can get it on maybe the weapon and the necklace, do so. But I think that's pretty much it. So I'll leave it to it. Hope you enjoy the run. It's obviously a little bit more room for maneuvers now. I've actually got this build perfected, but I mean this build is perfected now, so I mean you could copy it from the ground up. I just need to get as many ancient items as you can and all the specific weapons and things in place, because it's such an easy one to use.
Embrace your
enough arcane power. Not ready yet. Need more time. Not ready yet. Let's see the gem. I need to go back.
You have proved